I'm Robert Cardoza, and you're watching On the Street. This is the intersection of business and politics. This is where we try to just sort of give you an update about what's going on with regard to what's happening in the world that affects your business. Specifically, though, in the United States, but worldwide, we're going to try and cover everything and have you start thinking about how that affects your business in the future. That's what's really important here. And you're going to get this nowhere else but here. Sure, other networks have business interviews and business things going on, but I don't know of any of them that does an analysis regardless of political affiliation. I don't really care if you're a conservative or a liberal or a libertarian or an independent. What's going to wind up happening is I take all of this information, I throw it into a funnel, I see what comes out. Whatever comes out of there, I analyze that with absolutely no guidelines, just so that I can see what I think of as being the truth, and that's what I'm going to give you. Now, in the news today, obviously, John Boehner and the President of the United States are, I don't know what the heck they're doing. You know, I was wondering, is this fiscal cliff going to be good for us or bad for us? Well, you know what? There's no way it's going to be good for us. And you have to wonder what the heck is going on in Washington, D.C. You know, at first I thought it was posturing. I really thought that both sides needed to find a way to let the other side have a soft landing in these negotiations. Now, I think there's so much politics going on both sides that I don't know what's going on. I don't understand what it is that our legislators don't understand about trying to help America in general. One of the things that you'll read today, I read it in the New York Times, is that the conservative policies, not the party, but the policies, have gone way, way too far to the right, and they've forgotten about the majority of America. And I suppose you could sit there and say, well, that's Romney at 47% that he doesn't care about. You know, and it always seems that way, or almost seems that way. You know, you have to look at the Conservative Party. They have to restructure, or they're going to be just decimated. They're just heading down the wrong road. You know what? Even if you don't know anything about politics, you know something about common sense. And when you look at what's happening, there is no common sense going on here. The other thing that's going on, I was watching the news last night, and I was watching Boehner say, okay, we're all going home. We're not going to do anything today. We're not getting anything done. And then comes Eric Cantor, who I think may very well be the next Speaker of the House, and he's supposed to be working with John Boehner, the current Speaker of the House, to try and get this fiscal cliff taken care of. But it's not happening. And so you have to say to yourself, you know what? Eric Cantor really wants to be Speaker of the House. It's a very powerful position in Washington, D.C. How hard is he really working? He came out and they were asking him about the negotiations and asking him about what's going on in Washington, D.C., what's happening with the fiscal cliff. And you know, he had a smile on his face. Now, I can't think of anything worth smiling for with regard to the fiscal cliff. And the smile on his face is maybe he's not working so hard behind the scenes. Maybe he does want these negotiations to fail. Maybe he does want on January the 3rd to replace John Boehner as Speaker of the House. And maybe then he's going to come through with his magical compromise that averts any really serious things happening. But you know what? What's best for you and what's best for me and the other 300 million Americans is that they have a compromise. They come up with something now, right now. Now, if you were watching the stock market this morning, you know it's dipped. It's gone down. The reason it's gone down are investors and businesses are very concerned about, are the legislature going to let us fall off that fiscal cliff? That's exactly what's going on. You know what? The Democratic side has offered the Republican side precisely what they agreed to the last time we had negotiations, and they kicked it down the road. Now they've even gone farther. You know, the truth is they want to raise the rates only on the highest taxpayers, and they're only talking about raising it, you know, about 4 or 5%. Those highest taxpayers aren't even going to see it, not even going to feel it. But the rest of the 97 or 98% of us are going to get relief. We're not going to have to pay that alternative minimum tax. We're going to keep our tax deductions. All those things are going to be there. President Obama even put Social Security on the line and said, hey, look, we'll change the cost of living adjustments so that it's weighted. because we know that as costs go up in that medical arena, we negotiate harder to bring prices down. So the cost of living, when you start talking about Social Security, Medicare, actually aren't going to go up with that same rate. Well, you know, that's BS. It is going to go up, but that's just a way of talking from the side of your mouth, saying that this isn't going to be as bad as it's going to be. The truth is, what we really need to do is get something done, and get something done now, and we can certainly do it. And if it turns out not to be so good, we can change that down the road. But let's take care of our fiscal house. Let's take care of the foundation of our country. Let's take care of those 300 million Americans. Let's take care of those businesses. You know what? It's not that top 2 or 3% that is controlling the economy, that is controlling unemployment, that is controlling tax revenues. It's that other 97% that's doing that. And so what they need to do is recognize that, both sides. You know, President Obama already made a change from the $250,000 in taxable income to $400,000 in taxable income. Almost doubled, he did it for a single person, almost doubled what that was going to be to allow more people to be saved from that higher tax bracket. You know what? That seems like compromise. He put entitlements on the table. That seems like compromise. He's put revenue on the table. That seems like compromise. And it's the same thing that we had last year that the Republicans actually had submitted that they wanted to have. Now I don't understand why they can't come in the middle and make that happen to solve this fiscal cliff problem. You know what? They seem to be so complacent. It appears to me that the conservative party, the Republican Party, is no longer running the House, even though they have the majority. What it appears to me is that it's the Tea Party that is flexing their muscles and saying, we're controlling this. That's what's going on. John Boehner, on his Plan B proposal that would have helped businesses, couldn't even get his own party to support him. There were 20 people, 20 Republicans that said, no, I don't want any part of that. Most of them Tea Party people. You got to say to yourself, what the heck is going on? Don't I have any say? Don't I have anything going on in this government? I should have. We need to have that compromise. We need to get it done now. We need to help middle America. We need to help businesses. The truth is the way I'm looking at it, the compromises that have been made that are not being accepted by either side because they're children are the same compromises that would help business, help you, help me, help everyone. That's what's going on. And let me just leave you with this thought. It's so very important that you pay attention to what's going on in the world, because it's going to affect your business and it's going to affect you. That's just the way it's going to be. Now, you're watching On the Street. This is the intersection of business and politics. And me, I'm Robert Cardoza.